Good evening and welcome to the 6 o'clock news. This is Max. Um, so it's been 2 weeks since my first T injection, and a lot is going on already, so it's pretty much awesome. Well, first of all, my voice is already starting to kind of be a little bit weird, which is really cool. I guess that I would say at this point that I'm kind of pitching in that I'm speaking a little bit lower than is like my normal range. I say my normal range is kind of about here, but even that's kind of going down a little bit. And when I speak in a higher register right now, it does that. It feels like really hoarse and weird. It's definitely been cracking a little bit, kind of unpredictably. I don't know if you'll actually hear it, but it's pretty cool. So I got my second injection today, and we did actually a 50 milligram injection, because one thing that I started to notice in the second week, after that second video was posted, but after about day 8 or 9, I actually started to get kind of a spike in anxiety, and I had a couple of panic attacks, which was really not cool. It was kind of shitty, actually. Especially because I haven't had really any anxiety problems in a number of years. And there's not really any external factors that I can attribute it to. So I think that it may be caused by the fact that I was on that 2-week cycle, and my body tends to process things pretty quickly and start moving them along. So I talked to the doctor today when I got my injection, and we decided to switch to doing once a week for 50 milligrams, because she doesn't want to increase the dosage yet, since I did have that little weird anxiety spike thing. But she thinks that it may help if I'm on a little bit more of a regular schedule. So we'll see how that goes. And I'm probably going to be switching to Wednesdays, so this next injection is going to be more like a week and 2 days. What else? One of the things I've noticed is that I feel like I kind of look a little bit beefier, like my neck. And my face is a little bit thinner, which I'm glad about because I've always had such a very round face. No whiskers. Anxiously checking and anticipating. No whiskers yet. So, tear. But I definitely have a lot of peach fuzz, but it's hard to really tell at this point how much of that is from the tea and how much of that is just normal, because I'm already a very hairy individual. So we'll have to see. A little bit more muscle definition on my arms. My hips seem a little bit slimmer. My belly, it definitely seems to be getting some of the fat that is being lost from my hips, which is a little distressing. I'm going to have to do some more ab workouts, because I've always been pretty proud of my abs, and all of a sudden they're just kind of flabby, which, sad. Greasier, a little pimplier. And then the voice thing, really has been kind of interesting to see how quickly this is happening. Because actually at this point I'm still not out at work. And it sucks, because I talked to them about it back in January, and I told them I was transitioning. And I do have legal protection here in the state of Colorado, which is a huge privilege, and I'm really grateful for it. Unfortunately, that legal protection is not manifesting as well as I had hoped. Not too much detail that I want to get into there, but suffice it to say, I initially discussed it with them in January, and at this point I'm still not really allowed to be out at work. So, job hunting, at some point they're going to notice, probably sooner than later, and we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, let's see what else. So there's that. And then the other thing that I've noticed as far as physical changes go, and this is where if you're squeamish, you may want to, or squeamish or cautious or whatever, you may want to turn off, because I'm going to discuss genitalia. What? That's the medical scientific term. I got to look for my cameraman. And actually, this is something that's interesting, because it's something that I think a lot of trans guys care deeply about, and it's obviously something that I care deeply about too. Is how is my penis going to change? What's it going to look like? And as I've been kind of thinking about discussing this, because I've already noticed some changes, I was pretty cautious, because I think that there's a lot of internalized shame, especially, like, just in general, as maybe Americans, maybe Westerners, maybe, who knows, like, people who were brought up under the Christian tradition, especially a rigid one. But there's a lot of shame around our bodies. And I think that that's even more so for transgender people, like drastically more so. I know that when I was a teenager and my eating disorder started, it was in a lot of ways about getting rid of secondary sexual characteristics as much as I could, and about shame about having them, and also about gender dysphoria. But that also, I think, connects to the words that we use, which is my roundabout way of getting to this. And it connects to what we talk about, and whether we talk about it in polite society or in public, or if we talk about it on a video, or if we film it. I'm not going to film it. I don't know what YouTube's structures are. But, so I was like, what word do I use? Do I call it my cock? Do I say I've experienced some clitoromegaly? Do I talk about my penis or my dick? What words am I going to use if I'm talking about this to my friends, or potentially who even knows who could watch this video? And I came to, I decided, no, I do want to talk about this because it's important to me. It was important to me, as I was exploring transition. Important to my wife. And I think it's important to other trans people as well. But basically, long story short, I knew that, you're going to get some growth to your penis as you are on T. A lot of guys have said, oh, it's really slow. Like, 1 to 3 years is kind of when you're going to notice the main brunt of the changes. Well, it's been 2 weeks now, and I'm definitely noticing some changes. I didn't think to measure totally before I started on T, which I should have. And I still need to do some measurements of, like, I want to measure my penis, I want to measure my waist and my hips, and, just to see, like, where these changes are going to take place. Hey, there's somebody walking by the park. Hello. And the biggest thing that I noticed is, like, it's definitely kind of longer. Again, I don't know exactly how much, but noticeably, like, especially when it's engorged. And it's a little bit, like, wider, too. It's thicker. So it's really, really cool, and it's really exciting. And, I'm kind of wondering what it's going to look like when my body gets really acclimated to this. Like, I'm already seeing some voice changes. I'm already seeing, some changes to my penis. I'm already seeing whatever, changes to mood, and, but it's good. It's really, really good, and I'm really excited, and, I want to, discuss everything frankly with everybody, because it's important to me, and I think that other people are going to care too. And I want to use, like, honest words and frank discussion. And like, one of the other things that I've noticed is, like, my nipples have actually been very sensitive, like, painfully so at times. And I don't know if it's maybe because, like, testosterone and estrogen are having it out and whatever, I don't know. It could just be coincident with my menstrual cycle, because I think that I ovulated, if I'm still ovulating, probably still am, but within the last few days. So we'll see how it affects my menstrual cycle. I mean, they've said that most guys will lose their periods, but not all guys will. So, I don't know. Estrogen and testosterone are figuring out who's boss right now. And it's a pretty cool place to be. It's a little scary. It's a little weird. No, it's a lot weird. But it's really fun. And I'm really excited to see the changes that I've seen already. And I will continue to update you guys with candor and honesty and nerdiness and dorkiness and all the other things that go up to make this funny little muddle called Max. Don't give me that face. Alright, I love you all. You're fantastic. and your multi-gendered, brilliant selves. Mwah!